Well, hey there, mother lovers. This is Elena Turley, your host, and welcome to the Unboxable podcast, a place for mothers who are seeking holistic health and maybe a new way to look at a few things. Please enjoy this episode. I'm looking out my window and seeing beautiful, rainy, misty summer in Sydney, Australia, and been strange weather this week. The rain has been falling in the lead up to the end of the year. The kids are on holidays from school, and I've had a little bit of time and space to clear out around the solstice, which has been a beautiful and refreshing thing to do, and really something I've yearned for, actually, a little bit of time and space to create more space in life. And one of the things that's come out of it is a clarification, if you like, of what I like to call big change. So bear with me while I describe to you this Venn diagram that has come out this week. It's essentially a diagrammatical representation of big change, whether that be big change in your personal life, big change in your family, your relationships, your community life, or big change on a planetary level, on an earth level, as a custodian of the natural world. So one of the things it feels like we are very much being called to do at the moment, particularly as women, as our feminine empowerment is really being called back into action in this time of change in the world and in this time of war and lack of peace and disconnection. The more I've been looking at the way that we live in our modern paradigm, the more I realize we've forgotten some of the essential elements of our nature as human beings, that we yearn for interconnectedness, but in the West, we are more lonely than we've ever been. Statistically, we yearn for health and longevity and vitality, and yet a lot of the systems that we've set up, our food systems, our mental health systems, our medical systems, our community systems, not prioritizing the elements of those things. And so it really is up to us on an individual level, particularly I feel as women, because in my culture and in many cultures traditionally and in many Indigenous cultures, it was well recognized that women carry healing, women carry life. We are literally the vessels for life. So it seems to me there's no coincidence that our fertility rates are suffering as we get more disconnected from our roles as healers, as carriers of medicine and vitality. So it does seem very important at this time to explain what I've discovered over the last few years through working with women, through gaining a black belt as a 50-year-old woman, through menopause, which is an incredibly powerful time to get back in touch with your special medicine, your special magic, and through motherhood. I've been mothering for over 20 years now, and I've got many more years to go with a range of ages in my children. And I've been through many different seasons of life. And what that has shown me along the way is just a few understandings that I think are helpful for other women to help them also navigate those challenges in our lives in this modern world. Today's episode is brought to you by the Soul Mama program and the Lion Life Roadmap. It is a safe space, a virtual space for mothers, and it is specifically created for women to access a nurturing community, providing gentle accountability alongside this proprietary program. It helps you build the changemaker lifestyle that you dream of building while still showing up as the best mom possible. And it encourages you to walk step by step, small choice by small choice, towards a purposeful, peaceful, and powerful holistic life. Take a look at the program and what some of the beautiful women inside it are gaining at elenaturley.com, ALENATURLEY. Nice one. Today's episode is brought to you by the Soul Mama program and the Lion Life Roadmap. It is a safe space, a virtual space for mothers, and it is specifically created for women to access a nurturing community, providing gentle accountability alongside this proprietary program. It helps you build the changemaker lifestyle that you dream of building while still showing up as the best mom possible. And it encourages you to walk step by step, small choice by small choice, towards a purposeful, peaceful, and powerful holistic life. Take a look at the program and what some of the beautiful women inside it are gaining at alenaturley.com, AlenaTurley. Nice one. And so the 3 circles of the Venn diagram for big change, one big circle is enoughness. So one of the things that has become abundantly clear over the last few years is that we are caught up in this idea of perfection. And we are pursuing perfection either consciously or unconsciously in so many ways in our lives, and then beating ourselves up. And we're quite deeply conditioned to pursue these ideas of what it means to be a good woman or a good mother. And these are really unachievable and unattainable goals, and they are ideals that actually hold us back. They become limiting beliefs. They become beliefs that stop us from stepping into visibility. They stop us from connecting with other people. Oh, you can't come over, my house is too messy. They stop us from connecting deeply within ourselves because we spend so much time chasing our tails to create this unattainable and unachievable reality that we see reinforced in media, social media, so much in the circles I move in social media because I curate them, and I'm not so interested in external ideas of perfection anymore. I'm much more interested in understanding enoughness. How can I accept that whatever my imperfectly perfect reality is today, it is enough? So, huge focus for me lately has been to step into that acceptance and that surrender of whatever is what is what it is. And really reveling and celebrating the imperfect nature of life and the spaces between the moments that are reinforced by the media or reinforced by those around me and socially, and actually looking at how I really am and accepting how I really am, how my family really is. And that translates to really, your child has a tantrum in the middle of a supermarket, you sit down on the floor with them and you sit with them, in that moment. You don't worry so much about how it appears. And that's challenging in our society. There's so much pressure to appear in certain ways, and a lot of it is unconscious and deeply conditioned. We don't even realize we're tensing up when our children get upset rather than softening. And what I've noticed is that the more soft and gentle I can be with my child, in those moments where he or she is feeling vulnerable, then the more they are allowed to become emotionally resilient and emotionally intelligent and feel their feelings, just really feel their feelings, and I can feel mine too. That's a powerful thing. That's one parenting example. So enoughness is one big circle. Another big circle of the 3 circles is feminine re-empowerment. This is something that has become very clear that we most of all must really revel in our femininity and the power of that femininity rather than fall into this trap of feeling like we need to be strong and tough and masculine. And I'm not saying that feminine empowerment is not strong and tough, it certainly is. But masculine ideas of power can be quite different. So feminine power is a peaceful power. If you've ever seen, and a friend of mine who is a fellow black belt told me this when I was struggling with sparring with men, and she said, the calm eyes of a woman in a sparring situation can be terrifying. And I realized that the most powerful women I've ever met in my life have actually been very softly spoken. And I've met a few. And that is fascinating. There's a lot of power in strong softness. So feminine re-empowerment is about remembering our feminine power and really stepping into that fierce and gentle nature. The other third circle is generational healing. And I didn't say intergenerational because sometimes that can be misunderstood, I guess. But I do believe that when we focus on our healing and we focus on our own regeneration as a human being, our self-development, our personal development, what we actually do is we heal 7 generations before and 7 generations to come. There's a really beautiful Indigenous wisdom around this, which is about sitting around the fire and considering what would 7 generations ahead, the children that are ahead of us, want us to do in any given situation. It's a beautiful leadership idea. And this idea of the children's fire, of sitting with the next 7 generations of your family or of your society and considering what would they want you to do in any given situation, is a very beautiful idea of how to make choices and decisions in our current present time. There's some fantastic work on this called The Children's Fire. It's a book, and it's also a leadership series worth looking up. So there's that generational healing. When we heal ourselves, we heal the generations, and we also heal the people around us. Now, I know this because I've had rifts in my family in the past, and when I've really focused on healing my relationship with that person on my own, healing my internal relationship with that person, the external relationship shifts automatically. When we raise our vibration, we often raise the vibration of those in our circle. And that's why it's so important to have an inner circle of people that actually are doing the work and are into healing themselves because they lift you up too. This is a well-known energetic fact, really. It's a quantum healing. It's recognized in a lot of different research that when we are able to shift and change the way we are, and it kind of makes common sense, that we are also able to shift and change the things around us. So the intersections of these circles between enoughness and feminine re-empowerment is bold action. And this is one of the things about enoughness and feminine re-empowerment. Once they're working together, once we're not held back by our beliefs of not being good enough, of not being able to be visible or stand in our own personal power, then we are able to overcome the things that stop us from taking action. So bold action is a really important facet of this Venn diagram of big change. Another facet is impact. Between generational healing and feminine re-empowerment, we have a great impact. When we empower ourselves and we heal ourselves, our impact is magnificent. It is magnetic and it is massive, 3 M's. Interconnectedness is between enoughness and generational healing. And that's because when we feel enough and when we heal ourselves, we are able to connect more deeply with others, with our children, with our families, with our communities, and with the values and the impact we want to have. We're able to go out and really connect deeply with our place in human society, in the bigger human diaspora. And the thing about interconnectedness is we're already interconnected, but we must remember it and we must be brave enough to live in it. And then in the middle of all of those, 3 and 3 is the big change. This is the big change. And this is the big change that women particularly are being called to make at the moment, and to step into how we can make our legacy real. What's the thing that calls us late at night when we're driving, when we're in the shower? What is the thing that we dream about? Our vision, our biggest vision. And it's often something bigger than us. It's often something that involves service to a higher value. And it's often something that leaves the world better than we found it. So when we can understand what our special magic is, what our special thing is to give the world, then we are able to go out and do the big changes. But it starts with really small shifts. It starts with making choices around our day-to-day, around who we are, how we show up, around our health, our rest, all of the things that contribute. So to recap, the 3 circles of the Venn diagram of big change: enoughness, generational healing, and feminine re-empowerment. The enoughness is about holistic well-being, the feel-good baseline. What is our baseline? Do we feel good in our lives? We need to rely on the knowledge that who we are is always enough. We need to remember that perfection is an unrequited myth. We no longer need that myth. And once it's eliminated, it allows the pursuit of bigger visions for humanity. Climate-friendly choices, caring about what happens to others, and all this kind of positive action. Generational healing, the challenges faced by previous generations and the compelling nature of concern for future generations, golden keys. These things unlock greater personal, social, and planetary health. They are encoded in our cells, waiting to be understood. In my experience, trauma and my past trauma and the trauma of generations before me. My grandparents were refugees who narrowly escaped a genocide. That power in their trauma, in my genetic memory, is really, really important for us to learn from and to use as an energy in our force for change. So, generational healing and then feminine re-empowerment. Women hold special magic, and we are being called all over the world to step into our power and embody it. Sharing our special magic with the world is our mission. It's our biggest work, and ultimately, it's our legacy. So, these, my friends, are the 3 circles of the Venn diagram for big change. I hope this has resonated for you. If it has, please get in touch with me on socials. All the links are in the show notes, or just search Elena Turley, AlenaTurley, and you'll find me. I would really love to hear from you if this has resonated. Or please do share it with somebody that you feel needs to hear this right now, needs to remember their bigger place in the world while the small things are going on at home, And I don't mean small as in unimportant. I mean, we can feel disconnected and small when actually what we're doing is so, so important. So sending out a lot of love for the end of the year. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you have, please reach out, please share it, please let me know. I'd very much like to hear from you.